Hi there, and thanks for joining me for another Cricut tutorial. Today we're going to make personalized luggage tags from the Cricut Make It Now projects. So here we are in Design Space, and all we're going to do is scroll right down here to the So Cute projects. These are all of the Make It Now projects that involve sewing that are in Design Space. If you click on View All right here, it's going to show you all of just the sewing projects. And all we need to do is go up here in the search bar in the upper right corner and type luggage tag. And this is the project we're going to make. So we're just going to click on it. And here we can see the items we need for this luggage tag. We need the materials to cut, which include the fusible stabilizer. I am using Heat and Bond Light Fusible Adhesive. You need some clear vinyl. I got mine at Joann's, but if you have a package such as the packaging that bed linens comes in, it's often in that soft vinyl that you can sew through. That'll work perfectly. And you need some fabric. It says pink fabric. You can use any color you want. And it says a half of a yard. I used a fat quarter. I think a fat quarter is perfect for this project. Everything else you need is a Cricut 12 by 24 fabric grip mat, the Cricut washable fabric pen, an 1/8-inch wide ribbon, and a large eyelet. You're going to need your sewing machine, and right down here you can download the printable PDF that will walk you through the directions to cut this pattern out and to assemble it. So all we have to do is click Make It. And I did modify this design a little bit. I think it makes it much easier. I did not cut this very first mat. I went ahead and attached my stabilizer to the fabric, as you'll see in the assembly part of this video. And so all I had to do was cut out the second mat here, which is the vinyl, and the third mat, which is the fabric. And again, I already had my stabilizer applied to my fabric, so I got to skip that first mat. If you want to watch the next part of the video, you'll see what I mean. And then go ahead and cut your pieces out and we'll assemble it together. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is deviate from the instructions a little bit. I have put this together before and I think this is much easier. So I'm going to take my fabric piece that we have cut out. Again, it needs to be approximately 10 by 16. And I'm going to take my double-sided Heat and Bond. And this is the Heat and Bond Light, so you can sew through it. I am going to go ahead and apply this to my fabric with my iron. I just find applying this to the fabric before you cut it makes it so much easier. And it saves you a lot of steps. Everything is lined up perfectly for you. So this is how I prefer to do it. Now if you want to cut them out separately and then attach them after you cut each piece, be my guest. But this is how I'm going to do it. So you can do whatever works for you. It just takes a few seconds. Keep your iron moving when you are applying the Heat and Bond. Once it's cooled, you should be able to remove the paper backing. And you'll be left with an adhesive on the back of your fabric. And again, you don't want to pull it off until it's cool or you'll pull the adhesive back off. So make sure this end is cool. Alright, so there you can see I already have adhesive on the back of this piece of fabric. So this is going to make cutting my pieces out and applying the adhesive where I need it to be super, super simple. So right away we can skip the very first mat in the Make It Now, which is the stabilizer. We've already cut that. So we're going to go to the second mat. I'm going to set this aside. We're going to go to the second mat, which is the vinyl. Right up here. If you want to move it to a different area on your mat, just move it on the screen as well. But I'm just going to leave it just like it has it set up. Actually, I cut that really crooked. go ahead and cut that out. We're going to load that on your mat. Insert. I've got the fabric marker in slot A. Going to click on the material, click View All, and I'm going to type in vinyl, the very last option, vinyl, and click Done. It's telling me I need the fine point blade, so we're going to switch that out. We're going to open slot A, take out our rotary blade, put our fine point blade in. When you put the fine point blade in, make sure you push it all the way down and close slot A, and go ahead and click your blinking C. And now it's time to cut our fabric that we have already put the adhesive on. So we're going to load our fabric pretty side down on the mat. If you have the Cricut fabric brayer, this is the perfect time to use it. You want to make sure everything is stuck down really well, especially along the edges. And if you have any wrinkles in there, like I just did, you want to try to smooth those out. There we go. Now again, you can cut the stabilizer separately, but this is going to save you a couple steps, and I just think it makes the whole project go a little bit neater. Going to go ahead and insert this, and we're going to click on materials. So there are our two pieces. All right, now back to the instructions. Now we're going to pick up the instructions. The first instruction says place the stabilizer fusing side down. We've already put the stabilizer on, so we don't have to do number 1. So number 2 will tells us to fold our edges in and press. Being careful not to press, put your iron right on the stabilizer. So you want to stay right on the fabric. So we're just going to press those edges in. Press that last side down. So now we have something that looks sort of like this. Now we're going to go to the next page of instructions. Now it's telling us to fold tag back along the fold line with the wrong sides together. So this is the wrong sides. Here's our fold line. We're going to fold that in half, and we're actually just lining up the top there. We're just going to iron. Make sure your sides are lined up before you iron. And then just iron that together, and that's going to fuse together. So now you have something that looks kind of like this. If you'd like to add a monogram to the back side of your luggage tag, this is the time to do it. Go ahead and do that before you proceed to the next step. I used the Cricut Easy Press and applied the vinyl to the back of the luggage tag. Perfect. All right, so now we're through step 4. Okay, so the next thing it's telling us to do is to take our piece number 2, which is our frame, and to cut diagonally from the corner of the frame up to the blue corner. That's direction number 5. So we're going to cut from the corner of the frame to the corner of the blue square on all 4 corners. Once you have that done, you're going to take each opening of the window and carefully fold it back straight, finger press it, and then very carefully with the tip of your iron, you're just going to iron that in place. You don't want to get your iron on the bare stabilizer on the other side, so you're just going to very carefully press that open and then continue all the way around. Perfect. sure you get those corners nice and pressed open. And your final side. Once you have that done, I recommend you take your base frame and kind of center it between there and see about how much you need to fold up. Now I like to just lightly crease it so I just have an idea of where it needs to be. And then I'm going to remove my iron very lightly because that will stick to that heating bond. I'm going to take my iron and just press that up. So you're basically pressing it up just slightly over what you have folded over. I'm just going to double check again. So if I fold this up to there, it's going to be about the width of the base of the tag. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you want it to be close to even on both sides. All right, now I find it easiest to just lightly snip off these corners before I do the top edge. And we're going to fold that up just about halfway to the frame and press. And again on this side. So your frame should be looking something like this. Now you're going to take your vinyl and line that up right on the back. It shouldn't have any overhang, but if it does, go ahead and trim it up. And then you're going to use some clips if you have them. If you don't, use some binder clips, whatever you have to hold that vinyl in place while keeping your frame straight. And now you want to take it over to your sewing machine and you're going to sew as close to the frame as you comfortably can all the way around, trying to keep that same distance from the edge of the frame. So you're going to sew all the way around, all four corners. So I'll do that and I'll be right back. Okay, so now you can see I have sewn all the way around the edge of the frame. So the next step tells us to place our frame on top of our base tag. And again, we're going to clip it down. And now we're going to sew all the way up the edge, all the way up the top of the tag, around, around, back down, and all the way to back to where we started. So you're going to draw basically an outline all the way up. You're not going to sew across here. You're just going to follow the edge of the tag all the way up, keeping the same seam allowance on all of the sides. So let's do that. Okay, so we're almost done. The last thing left to do is to put our eyelet in. I have a crocodile. If you don't have a crocodile, you can use a regular eyelet setter, but this will work just fine. I'm going to use the large hole set. Place my eyelet in and place my eyelet and squeeze, and now my eyelet is set. And now you can just put your ribbon in or whatever you want to use to tie this onto your luggage tag. And you can put your address in there. I'm just going to slide a business card in here for right now. I hope you enjoyed watching me make these luggage tags. If you're interested in my regular series on Make It Now projects from Cricut Design Space, leave a comment below and let me know. I'm kind of considering and been thinking about doing something like that. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and I would love it if you make them and tag me so that I can see your creations on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, wherever your social media preference is. Until next time, I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.